to my heart. Diversity, equity, inclusion through partnerships. And I spent a lot of time with my own kids, with the students that I teach at the University of Michigan, thinking about how, in my position, to diversify and create a more equitable environment for the students that I work with. So I'm excited to welcome to the stage 3 people who are going to talk with us about this, each through a different lens based on their own personal lived experience and their own professional experiences. So first, let me introduce Manuel Quiroz from Sonora University in Mexico. Esmeralda Saylor of Hexagon, and Liza Wisner. Please have a seat.
Thank you for having me.
Hi.
Adam.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead.
So, where should we begin? We probably could have an entire week-long conference on diversity, equity, and inclusion. So let me start with you, Esmeralda. How do you define DEI today? We read about it all of the time. It's in our social media feeds. How do you define it in a way that's tangible?
In a way that's tangible. So for me, DEI is all of our responsibility, right? It's not just the analytics, the women, the percentage of women or men, right? For me, it's more than that. It's more of the awareness, right? The constant learning, the adapting and changing to that, and working together, right? Working together to become better and to make a better workplace, a better world, right? Where you reference your children, we think about our daughters and our sons, right? And setting that example, right? Setting those good examples and changing.
Okay, I think I can add.
Yeah, Manuel, please tell us about.
Yes, in the context of university, our university, the DE&I is embedded in our vision and values. What is basically is about recognition and acceptance of that there is a diversity of the ways of thinking or doing things in the students of the university. And the idea is to provide equal opportunities regardless of race, gender, sexual orientation, ethnic origin, culture, or disabilities.
And all of that, yes.
Please.
Yes to all of it.
Please jump in.
Yeah, and today, just hearing about all the innovation that's going on in this industry and just thinking about all the technology, it's just mind-blowing. But at the core of the work is human potential, as we've heard over and over again, and that is what the core of DEI is about. It's about celebrating our differences, it's about providing fairness through equity, and for me, the most important part for me is about people feeling included, right? People feeling included in the conversation, in the work, in the innovation, having their voices heard, because that's how we innovate. We innovate when people feel like they can contribute and feel like they can shine, and yeah, it excites me because I know in this world we're in right now, we went from survival to recovery, and it feels like DEI is a tough subject to bring up, right? But I really feel like in our world right now, that is the future, right? The future is about empowering our critical thinking, our capacities. And so DEI is here to stay, and I truly believe that it's our future. Leaning into it is our future.
So I enjoyed a conversation you and I had yesterday evening, and you told me about the work you did while at Texas A&M.
Yes.
And can you share with us some examples from that experience where you were successful and where you were perhaps less successful, but used those minor failures to improve?
Yeah, oh my gosh, Adam, you've taken me way back to my university years. And so, yeah, when I worked as a director of a graduate program, I think the most exciting thing for me was celebrating the person who is going through the graduate program, right? So we're trying to increase the number of minorities who are graduating in science, technology, engineering, and math, and with their PhD. And what it boiled down to was not so much the content they were learning, teaching them how to do a dissertation and all the stuff they have to work on. It's about celebrating the fact that they come as unique individuals to the university and seeing how those strengths that they have can be enhanced to make the program successful. So I would say the most successful thing we did there was listen to the students and really hone in on what did they need at that present moment, not necessarily for their graduation, right, but in that present moment, they're workers in the workforce, they have families, how can we support them? And it's the same for the workforce, right? We have to see the whole human as a holistic approach. But I would say some of the challenges we did have were, it had to do with what people call the bottom line, right? The point of this all, the revenue part, right? Yeah, we need the graduates, and where's the funding for the support on that? And I would say a part that we felt in the beginning of our programs was leaning in too much on the business case, right? And not realizing that the business case is tied to DEI. It's tied to more diverse voices being heard. It's tied to fairness through equity, right? Even though it may not be seen as important, right? It may be seen as, oh, that's that department, let them check our boxes. And it's seen as a buzzword that you just have to do. But that's really where the innovation comes, and that's really where, like in our program at the university, we were one of 4 institutions that were recognized by the White House for the work we were doing. And that's because of the power of people. Listen to the people and the answers will come.
So how is your work with Open Sesame advancing DEI?
Oh my gosh, it has to do with my fellow panelists here. I have to tell you that the power of Open Sesame is really about developing more productive and admired workforces. And so we take our position very strongly with Hexagon, working in partnership, right? As, we're so excited to have you as a customer, but we're even more excited to have you as a partner because we listen to you, you listen to us. We bring our best practices approach, serving thousands of companies all over the world with millions of users in learning and development. And with partnerships with universities, I believe at Open Sesame, we are really focused on the future, and the future is partnerships. The future is you cannot do everything alone. You have to figure out who's gonna fill those gaps the best way so you can move quickly. And so I absolutely love this title. I don't know who named this session, Better Together, #BetterTogether. We are better together, and that's what we do at Open Sesame. We're all about bringing the best practices, the next level practices together with companies who want to be the best businesses in the world.
So Manuel, one of the things that we commonly see among students is what is often referred to as the digital divide between the haves and have-nots. Students who grow up and they always have access to digital technology, and so it's just second nature. And then we know that we have many people around the world who don't grow up with that access. And when they attend university, what's really important is to make sure that all of the students, they finish at an equal level digitally with technology. So can you talk a little bit about your experience at Sonora and the partnership with Hexagon and the software that you use that allows you to educate students and make them competitive for any job that they want?
Yes, but basically what we do is in different stages of the preparations, we try to embed the tools from MindPlan embedded in each of the classes that we have there. And also from the software point of view, basically going that way. And in general, in the university, it's about we are teachers, and then the university has a part of training teachers in all what has to do with different lectures about how to behave with all the diversity that we can have. We have training for teachers that we have there. And that training is, it has been changing in the years, and trying to learning from what's happening in previous trainings and getting better in that part.
So Esmeralda, why Sonora? What do they offer Hexagon?
They offer opportunities, right, to the community. LATAM is one of our biggest selling regions, right? They're empowering the community there. We hire students, right? They're giving other opportunities to I guess, a diverse community, right? That also helps Hexagon, helps the communities and our partnerships, right? Just like Open Sesame, the partnership with us as well is adapting, right, to a virtual type of onboarding, right? How do we diversify that? Or how do we become better and diverse and inclusive, right? So it's obviously from the start of recruitment, but to onboarding. So we have created this virtual onboarding that now can be given, you know, in multiple languages. And then adding in these type of specialized training from the start, right? And making it easy not only for us and our, you know, employees in different languages and whatnot, but it's a lot easier, right? In the technology world that we are in, easy. Hey, Adam, you need to take this training course, right? You need a bit more of awareness in this subject or here, but making it not as something fun, right? Something great. And I think this is why these partnerships is why we're better together, right? We need this specialization from Manuel, from the University of Sonora, from Open Sesame, and like all of our other great partnerships to become better.
So what are next steps in this partnership? It's clearly successful, and I'm sure you, Manuel, see the excitement among the students.
Yeah.
That they're learning something that is practical, that
They understand, that they like their, I try to teach them like they learn in a video game, for example, while the student actually, they learn software, that means video games, practicing. Then the idea of my ideas of teaching them software is by doing as much time as they can do, by doing in the classroom, completing the projects during the semester, and also through a social service that we have in the laboratory, and to helping another students in knowing the software, and right now through another partnership with Hexagon is about getting all the people involved, or the most of the students involved in the using of the software, and then between them do it more in knowledge between the other one, being transmitted between the students, and doing like some kind of club for software in the lab, that they were getting training, specialized training in technology and software, practicing, doing the things.
So Esmeralda, is Rodrigo going to quintuple your budget so you can expand this?
Oh, yes.
It sounds to me like this is a fabulous success. So let me go back to Open Sesame. When someone comes to you and says, we want to improve DEI, what is your strategy to work with them, to listen to them, to understand where they are now? And I assume one of the things you're trying to do is pick up on what are they capable of now, because this is it's a big change that we're asking of a lot of companies around the world.
It is, and I wouldn't say so much as a change. I think it's about them learning how to adapt, right? So we may see the DEI work as, you know, in a silo, like, okay, we need to diversify more women, you know, more people of, you know, more minorities in the work that we're doing. But it's, for me, the opportunity is about measuring the success. And so that's actually where we start. We start with a benchmark of where are you at now? What are your strategic goals? Where do you want to go? So we can help you get there, right? But ultimately, I think the conversation really ultimately lands on where you're at in your DEI. And it's not necessarily as a whole company, it's organizationally. We look at your top leaders and try to understand what path are they on, right? What path are they on, whether it'll be successful or not. We know the paths that are successful, but we want to identify where are you at on this journey. So I consider myself an e-learning advisor, even though my title is enterprise curator, you know, of DEI. But the way I see it is, okay, maybe I have the map, right? But I don't know where you are at on this map to be able to give you the directions of where to go. So we do an analysis, we figure out where you're at, and then of course we have thousands and thousands of courses in multiple languages, and then we have innovations that, you know, can, with a click of a button, can translate into whatever language you want, over 40 languages. And the power of that is really understanding first where you're at. Because when you talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, for an organization like, let's say, that's just arising, they don't even know what the term diversity means, you know, at its core, right? Maybe they don't even know what equity means, inclusion means. That's at the very beginning, we have to have knowledge, right? And then further, Manuel mentioned experiential learning, bringing it into the field, the workforce, right? That's level 4, that's optimizing, that's taking it to an evolutionary level, right? How can we just build a workforce where people are learning and growing and you don't have to make them do this, right? The DEI work is learning and growing with your organization. That's what we do. We want to get you from your arising stage, from being reactive to being proactive and optimizing. And that only happens if we measure where you're at today. If I know where you're at on my map, then I can give you the directions of how to get to your destination.
So what are the most common hurdles that you see companies go through when they want to implement better ways of making their company more diverse, more equitable? You know, I think about what intrinsically motivates us and what extrinsically motivates us. And one of the things that we see a lot and is written about a lot is, you know, extrinsic motivation can only get you so far, right? The website with a photograph of your team and all shapes, sizes, flavors, colors, you name it. Photogenic diversity versus that intrinsic motivation and figuring out ways to help people on their own subconsciously want to move. Can you give us an example?
Yeah, so that's the part that excites me, because at our core as humans, we want to be better, right? I'm pretty sure if I asked everybody in here, do you want to be, 5% better today than you were yesterday? Do you want to be 10% better tomorrow? Do you want to be 50% better? Whatever the number is, everybody would say, yes, what is the thing I have to do, right? And so that's the power. And the challenge for me there with companies sometimes is, they say they want to do it, just like you mentioned, the photogenic part. They want the pictures and they want the check boxes, the checking their boxes, but they're not putting the resource behind it, right? And we talk about that being maybe, the affordability of the programs that they're funding, or, putting more money into the program, right? So we need money, okay? But at the same time, that's actually one small part of the equation, because you can throw as much money as you want into these programs, but it's not going to stick, it's not going to work if you don't have the right people in the right seats driving the initiative. So at its core, it's employee engagement. It's about making sure that the human feels heard in the workforce, they're doing work that they're passionate about, their voice is being heard. The hurdle there is social acceptance for innovation. If the person who's working in your organization does not feel socially accepted in the place they work, they're holding back their best self. They're holding back ideas. Just think of all the ideas they have that they're afraid to tell you because they're trying to figure out the best way to tell you, right? No, remove that barrier, create managers and leaders who create a safe space for people to be themselves, and watch it shine. Just bring that freedom for people to just explode in front of you, and trust me, that is the way. So that's the challenge, is the resource of safe space, not necessarily funding. It's the resource of people learning how to create safe space.
And if you're in the audience and you're looking for a consultant, I think you found her up here on the stage. Wow. Esmeralda, it works, right? I mean, this is working. You're seeing this work. You're seeing this cultural change, accepting DEI. We know it makes us better.
100%. And I'll add to what Liza said. With me, what I see is that we have a strong senior leadership, right? This isn't a department, the DEI department fixes this or make it better, right? Or Esmeralda or Adam. No, it's all of our responsibility, right? So like a Koto, a Penny, who support us in really pushing these changes or adapting or raising their hand to say, hey, did you seen this, or can we change this, or let's adapt to this. It's us working as a team to become better.
Yeah, so as we wrap up here in what, at least for me, is probably among the most important conversations in this whole meeting, I'm reminded of a video that Adam Seltzer played earlier today of John F. Kennedy when we set in motion everything to put somebody on the moon. We don't do it because it's easy. We know this is hard, and we're rising to the challenge. And listening to your work at Open Sesame and what you're doing, and the partnership here with Sonora. I mean, this is just fantastic. So I thank the three of you for joining us this afternoon to talk about DEI. And again, Liza probably has business cards. So Liza, when you exit the stage, I get a 10% cut, but no. No, I do it for free. But yeah, thank you very much, all three of you. This has been a fantastic conversation. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the meeting, and I hope this stimulates conversations with people in the audience, because it really is a topic that increasingly is one of substance,
And we
not
can talk
just
all
of
day long
style.
about it. Yes.
Absolutely. So thank you.
something, yeah.
Thank you very much.